What's going on and what's the deal? How was everybody's weekend? Well, it was bitter, pleasant, I guess you could say. But it started with Colorado. Stanford versus Colorado. A loss like this could stick with you to the end of the season. No business Stanford should have been beating those Buffaloes on Friday. You know what? Maybe that was the problem. Maybe because the game was on Friday. Y'all used to play it on Saturdays. They kind of slid in a Friday night lights on you and you forgot what was going on. You sped out of the gates and then you ran out of the gas in the second half. Allowed this team to rally.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Double overtime. And ultimately losing on the field goal. Game-winning field goal. Colorado, man. Like I say, they shoot themselves in the foot. They're in their own way. That's the only way you can look at this. Colorado is in their own way. They start feeling themselves instead of looking at the task at hand and saying, we got to finish the job. You always have to finish the job. I don't care if you're up 30 points, 40 points, 50 points. If you got at least another quarter to go, keep the foot on the gas pedal. Don't underestimate your opponent. Yeah, they only won one game, but any team can be beat. Especially when you give them a little breathing room. Or make them feel like be slowed down a little bit. So yeah, this is a terrible loss for Colorado. And it's going to be tough to recover off of that. Tough to recover. You're trying to bounce back from earlier losses in the season. This one was a must get. And actually, it was got. Y'all let it go. Y'all let it go. And y'all the only ones to blame. You can't say, well, it was something Stanford did. No, man. If y'all stay focused on the detail at hand, this wouldn't have happened. All of a sudden, the offense can't accumulate points. Can't contend and keep up with them. Because once you give a team hope, it's all lost then. It's all lost. That 29-0 spot, should have cruised with that. Not saying they're going to end up with a goose egg. Yeah, they'll score some points and try to battle back. But y'all that had the cushion so far, it didn't matter what they did at that point. As long as you playing Buffalo football. But the secondary just lost. And what did I say before about these wide receivers? Opposing teams' wide receivers. If it's the number one wide receiver, it don't matter who it is. He's going off the chain. They cannot figure out how to stop a number one wide receiver game in and game out. The guy always go all world. Always go all world. The guy had, 13 catches for 294 yards. Averaged almost 23 on a catch. 3 touchdowns. Yeah, all world. This one guy tore him to pieces. And Ashton Daniels, he did his best job trying to duplicate what Deion Sanders did. He wasn't too far off of it, throwing the ball. The guy almost threw for 400 yards himself. 4 TD passes. And what Shadur had, 400 yards, 5 TD passes, and 1 pick. So he was tit for tat right there with him. But then you have this wide receiver just go off like no one can cover him. Secondary was just lost. Out of position. Like I say, they don't pay attention to the details. And this is happening week in, week out with this team. You just don't understand it. Yeah, Travis Hunter was back. And he played a hell of a game coming back. Making his debut from his injury. Had a hell of a game. 13 catches, 140 yards. Almost 11 on average and 2 touchdowns. But they needed more than that. They needed a lot more than that. And when I say Ashton Daniels almost duplicated Deion Sanders, even on the ground, he had 16 carries for 39 yards. Deion Sanders had 13 carries for 37 yards. You see where I'm going with this? So when you got a quarterback throwing the ball tit for tat, not turning it over, and you got a wide receiver going completely off the chain because nobody seems like they can cover him up, and you have a 29 spot, it don't make any sense. Like I say, Colorado beat themselves. And I'm not trying to take no credit away from Stanford, but I'm just telling you the facts. When you up 29-0, I don't care what game it is, you're supposed to win that. You're supposed to win that game. Seal the deal. Continue to play the way you were playing to get the lead, even after halftime or going to each quarter. Keep up the intensity. Keep up the details. But when you start feeling yourself, thinking this team has lost it, they're scared, we got them, took, and you go out there half-assing it, and then you get surprised hit in the mouth, then you're sitting there like, yeah, they hitting back. And now it's too late because you're dazed and confused. And now they get surprise plays on you. Everything's breaking down. Now you trying to play catch up and can't do it. Double overtime to lose on a field goal. It's sickening. It's very sickening. Dylan Edwards, once again, 7 carries, 33 yards. It seems like every game, his stats almost looking the same. There's nothing shooting off the charts. He's just having these, here and there ball games when you expect more from him. Well, defense is getting a little more tighter now. They know who their weapons are. I mean, you can't do too much with Travis Hunter. He's all world. He's going to get his numbers. Xavier Weaver, he played off the chain. 7 for 124. Jimmy Horn Jr., 5 catches, 60 yards, 12 on average. But it's just a lot of spotted out stuff with Colorado. It's not all coming together solid. They're having these splash plays here and there, but it's nothing sustainable. And that's where they're losing it at. Because if you're having splash plays here and there on offense, and you got a big old gap about this big on defense, it's not going to measure up. And like I said, somebody need to key in on their wide receivers each game. No matter who they're playing, one wide receiver goes completely off. All you got to do is check the box sheet every game after they play. One wide receiver is going to be well over 100 yards. He might be in 200 yards like this game was on Friday. 13 catches for 294 yards, 3 TDs. Who's covering this guy? Did they have a scouting report on him?
Nope.
I don't know anything about him, but Buffalo should. Because if you know anything about this guy, you'd have had him covered. I ain't saying completely shut him down, but he wouldn't have had an all-world game like this. And shouts out to Emmitt Smith. His son played in this game. He didn't do too much himself. 6 carries, 16 yards. I don't know if he's a highlight running back for them or not, because he got less of the carries between the running backs as far as receiving. He only had 3 catches and 4 yards. But yeah, E.J. Emmitt Smith's son. Hopefully to see him in the league. But yeah, Colorado, this was a sickening loss. And I know y'all felt it. You had nothing to feel. If I feel it, I know how y'all felt it. Y'all on the ball club. Y'all suiting up. Y'all get the text message. Y'all get the phone calls. Y'all look at Twitter. Social media blowing up. You got to hear it. You got to hear it all through the week until you get back on the football field. And sometimes that don't even help. But like I said, from the 2 earlier losses, y'all had time to clean these things up to get further in the win column. And when you play against teams like this, like I say, anybody can win on any given day or night. But this one here was for the taking. It was got. Y'all lost it. Y'all lost it. No way. No way. So yeah, it was a rough sleep. No doubt about that. Because I was sick to my stomach watching this. It was very sickening. Everything was feeling good, and then next thing you know, boom. can't recover. So yeah, and out-coached as well, of course. Hate to say, but yeah, Colorado Buffaloes got out-coached. No doubt about that. I don't think that'll happen often, and I think Coach Prime would agree with that. Like he said, they all need to get better. They all have to tinker some things. This is everybody's fault, not just the players. And I'm looking for a big turnaround for the coaching staff going into next season. You can see that already. That's already in the making. Players and that staff is going to be rearranged around for sure. Especially defensive coordinator, what's going on, because the details are not there. If the details were there, you wouldn't get beat by one wide receiver. Because the way I'm looking at it, you shut down his production, you win the ball game. Whether you allowed him to come back or not, you still win the ball game. This guy took a heavy of the load. So yeah, bitter, pleasant this weekend. Those Colorado Buffaloes, man, they have you on a roller coaster. But if you want to shine and you want to be fine, you got to get these kind of losses in line. No doubt about that. Have no business losing to Stanford Cardinal. For any team you give hope, when you have them down, you're going to find yourself in trouble. So yeah, that's it for the Colorado Buffaloes. Everybody know they let it go. That's a pie in the face loss right there. A pie in the face. But you got to get that cleaned up. Whether it's this year, next year, whatever the case may be, you got to get it cleaned up. And as far as the assignments, game planning, it has to get a lot better. Because y'all can't go out there just free-willing it, going with the flow, looking for splash plays all the time. That's not going to win. But, yeah, it looks cute and get you some numbers and you can get leading in the game, but it's going to sustain. Is it going to seal the deal for you? That's what you need to worry about. So look into that. Because I think I'm onto something here with these wide receivers of the opposing team. I think I'm onto something here. Every game, a guy is going completely off. Well, they act like they don't know where he's at. They losing him. He's catching all this yardage. Just killing the secondary. And nobody can do anything about it. It's time to look into it. Defense has got to be a lot better than what they're doing. So that's it for them. We're going to talk about, before we get to these Rockets, talk about these Philadelphia Eagles. And by the way, this is Making It Monday. Get it over with like we always say. Get it to Tuesday. But Making It Monday indeed. Beginning of the week. Crazy weekend, like I said. Philadelphia Eagles against the Jets. If anything I was worried about in that game, it was the defense, and that's exactly what won it for them. They had Jalen Hurts on the run pretty much most of that game, knocking him down. He made some great plays on the run, but it wasn't sustainable. I mean, Superman gonna run into his kryptonite sooner or later if he keep having to make plays on the run. And he ran into his kryptonite, Lex Luthor.
Revenge! Now we're cooking, huh?
He flies then?
Constantly.
He has powers as we do?
Certainly, but, oh, magnificent one. He is just one. Or you are three. Or four, if you count him twice.
And they picked him off, 3 times in this ball game. Defense was stout. The more it got narrowed down to the end, and this game stayed pretty close, 1-score game here and there, because I knew they hang around, they can make a play to win it, and that's exactly what they did. They turned us over enough, they hit him to the ground enough to skew some things up. We couldn't finish drives. We got around the 50-yard line, got in scoring position, and next thing you know, you end up punting the ball. When you're right there knocking on red zone and you end up turning the ball over or having to punt. And then who would have thought our kicker, Jake, would miss a field goal? That was a shock in itself. But things happen, man, when you let teams hang around. Same thing with the Buffalo thing and with the Eagles. We had no business losing to the Jets, but the Jets got stout defense. And if you mess around with them long enough, they're going to get you. They will get you. And I don't want to take no credit away from the Jets. The Jets have a solid defense, but we still supposed to win this game. Games like this, we supposed to win them. The Jets ain't all world, but at home, you have to beat the New York Jets. Pick it up, move on to the next. Don't let games like this slip. But 14 points is all we can muster up. I want to give that defense credit, but I don't want to give them that much credit to where we score 14 points and we say that's all we got. I don't want to believe that. Yeah, so there's no more undefeated teams in the league. Eagles was the last one standing, and they got their loss. So now everybody's been beaten. Now it's time to really get to playing some football. Because I didn't want to go undefeated through the season anyway. I've seen teams go undefeated. And you know what happens when they get to the playoffs? They see something they never seen before, or get hit in the mouth, or one quarter and then stagger and don't know how to get back on their feet, end up losing the ball game in the first round. So now undefeated don't mean anything when the playoffs start. That's a whole new season. So you can say what you want, but now we're going to see how they're going to bounce back after losses now. That's how you find out what your team is made of when it comes off of a loss. So even in saying all of that, you want to win them all. Now, don't get me wrong. But the Jets, I don't think no one expected the Jets to get us. If we was going to lose, we didn't think it would be the Jets. But they came out there and they had some heart and they fought. Their offense was pretty much stinking it up. And plus, we got great defense too. So I want to say they stinking it up, but they couldn't get anything going. So if they're not getting nothing going on offense and then we're trying to get something going, it was just a defensive game. They made more plays on defense than we did. And when you turn us over, that's a whole different ball game. So they got Jalen Hurts tonight. And Jalen Hurts, I got your back. I'm behind you, but we got to fix that glare that you got in your eyes.
He took off and took the top off this defense, Devontae Smith, but you got to cut.
Because you look like a baby that lost his pacifier or something like that sitting on the sideline. You just don't have that look in your eyes. Seems like you're lost. You don't know what's going on. Somebody stole your last cookie or something like that. But yeah, get that together, Jalen Hurts. We can get it on the next game. We can get it on the next down, get it on the next play. It just seemed like the day is you weren't too into it. And that's my only argument I had in the past of you, is that sometimes you don't look like you're in the game. So I was a little worried about that. But hey, it's one loss. We're going to bounce to the next. You don't have to look sour and stuff like that on your face. Keep that confidence going and stay focused. The big plan is the dance. So we don't want to see that look because we don't want it to reemerge in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl. So keep your demeanor right. Keep that focus and that eye right too. So clap it up a little bit. Say it's all right, we'll get them next time. And don't just sit over there on the bench like this here. It's not a good look. It's just not a good look. So let's get into these Texans. Now that's the pleasant part from the bitter. The Texans. Big win at home against the Saints. Let's give them a round of applause. When you win games like this, that's team improvement that I'm talking about. And I hate to keep going back years past, but even a year ago, you don't win a game like that against the Saints. You just don't. Whether at home or it's over there, you don't win that game. The team wasn't put together that way. They found a way to lose it. They always found a way to lose it. Texans are for real. It's a new regime. They're looking great. They're playing to win the game. Finally.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
They plan to win. You don't know how much joy I have inside watching these Texans play now. And it don't have nothing to do, like I said before, with wins or losses. It's the style of play, the way they're approaching these ball games. They're approaching it to win. That's all we wanted for them to approach it with a winning attitude. And this C.J. Stroud, yes, I can talk about him every week as well too. He's got everything figured out. The guy can pinpoint passes. He's on the run throwing balls now. He's making right decisions under pressure, throwing the ball away, checking it down. I mean, what can you say? He's everything and more than you expected coming in this season for your number one quarterback. We ran the ball a lot, controlled the clock, moving it up and down the field. Still have that red zone problem though. We got to get that fixed. We still kicking field goals, or we were getting close, just kind of like the Eagles. We was getting close down on the 50, 40-yard line, and then you end up going 3 and out and have to punt the ball. So we left some points on the scoreboard. But when you get in that red zone, we have to get touchdowns. That's the only thing that's faulting right now, is finishing a deal with touchdowns. Almost let the Saints hang around too long to where they can get momentum and could have got it from you. But this defense was stout. The defense won the game on Sunday, and that was the key. This defense has been playing out of their mind. Let me see here if I can pull this up. Yeah, defense played out of their mind. Only gave up 13 points to the Saints. We're talking about an offense that has Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and Taysom Hill. Weapons on the offensive side of the ball, and you only gave up 13 points. That's stout defense. Stout defense. And that defense can have you in every ball game that you play. They stick solid like this, no problem. No problem. And 20 points was enough to win it for us. And we still left points on the board. This could have been a 30-something point game. If they're scoring the red zone, instead of, kicking field goals or stalling out around the 50, 40-yard line, easily. So that was a big win from these Texans against the Saints at home. This is another quality win. There's certain teams that you play that are quality wins. And anytime you can beat on your next door neighbor, your cousin, always a quality win. No doubt about it. So big heads up to them for winning that one. The Pittsburgh Steelers, that was a big statement win for the franchise, just to show that you can win against a great ball club or a good franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then you come in and get the Saints. You gotta understand, these are Super Bowl teams that they're playing, who won Super Bowls in the past, and good franchises. Now you just bump on the line now. Keep improving your record. You wanted to go 500 going into break. There it is, right at 500. And I'm still just a little stingy and mad about that, because we could have been above 500 going into this break if it wasn't for a little slippage here and there. But it's okay though, because we're ironing out the kinks. Still a young team, still getting everything lined out, but it's looking great. It's looking good, and I like what I see. So like I said, it was bitter, pleasant this weekend. Colorado was bitter, Eagles were bitter, but the Texans, they finished it with pleasant, and that was nice to see. So yeah, man, so we rolling, making it Monday again. Like I said before, it was a good sports weekend. Just certain things don't go your way, can ruin it for you, but that Colorado had no business losing that ball game. That's gonna be a hard one to get over. I mean, I know you're supposed to just pick on to the next, but oh man, when you lose something like that when it was already had, that's tough. That is tough. And I hope it don't derail their season, because you have to wipe that out of your mind, and it's hard to wipe something like that out of your mind. You have to come out with brutal force in the next game just to erase it. You have to go out there and try to demolish and blow out your next opponent. It's the only way you can do it. I think that's about it. We got NBA preseason games going on now, mixing in with some football. So that season's about to kick off. And Wembanyama's looking good. And I'm looking for him to carry it over into the regular season. I know there's a lot of people that's not on Wembanyama like that, and that's okay, because with greatness is going to come some hate. But it's okay, nobody want to be on board with him, because he's going to come through regardless. He has that much talent. So, I mean, look, he's with San Antonio Spurs. I'm a Rockets fan. Those are our enemies. So if I can praise the man when I know that's a rivalry, never liked the Spurs. especially if you're a Rocket fan. So if I can get this young man some praise, anybody can give him some praise. You know, I just like the talent. I like his humility. This guy's not cocky. He's not out there flashy. He's humble. He just loves the game and want to do well with his talent. And he's soaking it all in, and he's a great talent. And he's with a hell of a franchise. He couldn't go to a better franchise. Yeah, you're hoping you had bids on getting him. You'd have loved him to come to Houston. A lot of franchises wish they could have had him. But where he landed, best spot. Best spot he could have ever landed, to be honest with you. If he's going to be taken care of right. So, yeah, that young man is going to be around for decades and decades and decades to come. And now he just made that Houston and San Antonio watchable again. So you're going to tune in to that one. And I just hope they don't get the best of us. But it's going to be a doozy every time they meet up. And it looks like to me, Jabari Smith going to be the guy that's going to be on him, which will be a hell of a matchup. Jabari Smith Jr. with his defense. And I know he likes to take it personal, and he likes challenges. Get Wembanyama. That's going to be one for the making right there. Just stay out of foul trouble. That's all I got to tell you. I don't know if you can hold him the whole game, but when it comes down to crunch time, when we need a stop, or he's getting off, and we want to slow him down a little bit, we're going to put you out there on him and see what you can do with him. You're long enough. You can move your feet. You're a defender. So make him work. That's all I got to say about it. So, yes. Oh yeah, shouts out to the new subscribers and new subscribers to the channel lately. Really appreciate it. So shouts out to y'all and enjoy it. And we out of here. Appreciate it. Peace.